Hi guys! Today I'm going to do my my August wrap up, and this month I had a bit of an LGBT month. I really wanted to try something new, and I thought I'd pick up some LGBT books because I didn't read that much. Did read a couple, but not that much. So I read like 2 LGBT books, and the rest was just YA, I think. So let's dive right in then. So the first book I read this month was If I Were You by Lisa Renee Jones. And this book is about Sarah's neighbor Rebecca, who runs off to elope with a man she barely even knows. And Sarah is left with the key to Rebecca's storage unit. And there she finds some diaries with some really intimate stories. Sarah becomes enthralled with these diaries, and she gets the feeling something happened to Rebecca. And then she goes on to live Rebecca's life and figure out what exactly happened to Rebecca. Um, I gave this book 2 stars, and I have to say it's definitely not my kind of book. I read this for a challenge objective. And objective was the genre I read the least this year, and it turned out to be new adult, and I really fucking hated it. Oh my god. Um, First of all, this book made me feel uncomfortable. The sex scenes in this book weren't even remotely sexy, and they most of all just annoyed and disturbed me. Maybe that's because I'm not really into the new adult scene. Maybe it's supposed to be this way, but I didn't really get the whole hype about this one. The men in this book absolutely made me cringe. They were just so full of themselves, and they really annoy me. I just can't stand arrogant jerks, and that's how they just sounded to me. Um, I didn't understand Sarah's attraction to Chris at all. Chris was one of the men I was just talking about. Because he had an insecure side, he had a rough past and stuff like that, but it didn't really make up for him just being a complete asshole. I just felt he wasn't the kind of man Sarah made him out to be. I have to say this one is not necessarily a bad book. It isn't badly written or anything. It's just not my cup of tea. So the next book I read was Biggest Flirts by Jennifer Eccles. And Tia is all about having fun, and when she encounters a new guy Will on a party, she's instantly attracted to him. Eventually, Will wants to get serious because sparks fly, and Tia backs down because she doesn't want to commit and be left heartbroken. Will ends a relationship with another girl, and then it gets awkward. Will and Tia get voted biggest flirts. I gave this book 4 stars out of 5 because I actually really liked this book. The writing style was enjoyable and the story was fast paced. I actually shipped Tia and Will, and that doesn't happen that much. I actually ship 2 people in a contemporary kind of book. They were so adorable together, and their moments of teasing each other were fun to read about. And it wasn't all lovey-dovey and cringe-worthy. It was a real fun relationship, and you don't encounter that much in books anymore. Um, the one thing that did annoy me was Tia's lack of commitment. I do get why she didn't want to commit, but the way she kept claiming Will and why she didn't even want to commit annoyed me to no end. I also found it a bit weird. Will moved on so quickly. He chose another girl and started a relationship. Why is it so important to commit to someone? Didn't give me the feeling he liked Tia that much. Oh, and the way Tia's sister suddenly came crawling back when her relationship went all wrong. It doesn't really work that way, little lady. The next book I read was Surviving Elite High from John H. Ames. Wait. Oh my god. The writer of this book has the exact same name as the main character of this book. Does it actually mean it's an autobiography? No. Oh my god, I will feel so guilty about what I'm going to say next. Okay. I'll have to John is a 16-year-old boy who lives in New Jersey. He's a bit of an outcast and gets bullied. On the verge of dropping out of school due to overdue payments, a teacher enrolls John in a tutoring program where he meets the school star quarterback, Nick. As John becomes closer to Nick, he develops a strong affection towards him, and Nick becomes John's protector against the bullies. I actually gave this book 1 star, and it wasn't even worth that one. This is one of the LGBT books I was talking about earlier, and it didn't set a great standards. This was one of the most fucking terrible books I have ever read. It was badly written and it was so overdramatic. The whole school shooting made no sense at all. This is not a spoiler, it's actually in the summary of the book. To me, it seemed the guy who was shooting was looking for John, but in the end, nothing major actually happened to John or to Nick. The way John talks about Nick actually makes me sick. It doesn't seem even remotely believable to me, and don't get me wrong, it's not about the gay thing. I'm completely supportive of gay people, but the way it was written was just so bad. I immediately deleted the rest of the series from my Goodreads TBR. I don't want to read any more from this series. This book ruined all chances of me ever picking it up again. And to be honest, it was only the first book in the series. The next book I read was Purity by Jackson Pierce. And I have to say, I really love this cover. It's like this blue cover with a locket on it and with Purity on it and a little heart. And I just really love it. I love simple covers. So this book. Before her mother died, Shelby promised 3 things. To listen to her father, to love as much as possible, and to live without restraint. Those promises become hard to keep when Shelby's father joins the planning committee for the Princess Ball. An annual dance ends with a ceremonial vow to live pure lives. No bad behavior, no breaking the rules, and definitely no sex. I get this book 3 stars. At first, the relationship between Shelby and her father was really awkward, and when they started spending time together, they bonded, they really connected. What I liked about this is that I could relate so much. When I read father-daughter stories, I always tear up a little bit, because it was kind of the same with my father and me. The whole taking the promises literally was kind of annoying at times. If Shelby had told her father about the promises, this whole thing of getting over the purity pledge could have been avoided. I was amazed by her clinging onto a promise that badly. For example, she took the live without restraint promise very seriously. She even had a bucket list. The romance in this book didn't appeal to me and seemed unnecessary. I think if people talked about the feelings a lot more in this book, a lot of problems could have been solved immediately. This book is nothing really special, but I think it's quite a fun read. The next book is The Summer I Wasn't Me by Jessica Verdi, if that's what she's called. I think this. Lexi is gay and she never meant for her mom to find out. Now she's scared her little family is going to fall apart even more. To fix the situation, Lexi goes to New Horizons summer camp, a gay curing camp to be exact. I gave this book 2 stars. This is also the second LGBT book I read this month, I was talking about earlier. First of all, I thought the whole gay camp thing to be ridiculous. It's not about this book per se, but it's just, I don't believe in gay camp. I don't believe in curing gays. I thought it was just so ignorant and stupid, and I couldn't stand the idea of a gay camp. That was just it. I didn't get why Lexi's mom wouldn't accept her. I didn't get why she was just like, oh my god, you're gay, you're not my daughter anymore, go to a stupid summer camp and they're going to fix you. I I didn't like her mom. Just saying. Um, a lot of stuff happened at summer camp, and there was one particular event that I think it was at the end of the book somewhere, um, that genuinely shocked me in this book. It was quite disturbing. I didn't see it coming, and I was like, "WTF just happened?" Um, there was a case of insta-love. Lexi started crushing on a girl from camp when she saw her for the first time. All because she was so extremely beautiful. I don't like insta love, and especially not in contemporary. I think it's okay in fantasy, or if it's like in dystopian or something. I don't know, I think it's different. But this is like real life, you know? I think it's not possible. The only character I actually liked in this book was Justin, and that was because he was being so confident in being gay. And he even had a boyfriend, and I really like it about him, his confidence. The people who organized the camp were so ignorant. They kept claiming they were cured from being gay. They were all so judgmental. I couldn't stand it. Oh, and let's just say I hated the camp leader. He was the worst of all. He was a really, really bad man. And if you read this book, which I don't recommend, not particularly, but if you read this book, you're going to hate him. I'm just saying. This book was kind of okay. I didn't particularly like it. I wouldn't recommend it, but it was okay. And I just thought the camp was way too gruesome for my taste. So the next book I read was Only Everything by Kieran Scott. Eros, aka Cupid, has been banished to Earth for kissing a mortal. She has to match up 3 couples, and then she can come back and be with Orion, her mortal love. The thing is, she doesn't know how to live as a human without any powers. And now, she's called True Champion. I gave this book 3 stars. I actually laughed out loud because of True sometimes. She was quite to the point and wanted to get her job done quickly, and life didn't really work in her favor though, and that was at some points quite funny. The story was told from 3 perspectives, but I only really liked True. The other 2 perspectives were the people who were supposed to be a couple, and I didn't really like their personalities, and I think I'm one of the only people who actually likes True and doesn't really like Charlie and Katrina. So yeah, True was arrogant at times, I have to admit, but I think it actually suited her character. It made her complex, and I feel she's a really good character. I actually shipped True in the thesis for the short while he was in the book. I didn't feel the love between True and Orion, maybe because he wasn't in the book most of the time, and her thesis was. Orion was only in flashbacks, and at those times I didn't really like them as a couple. I'm not quite sure if I want to continue this series or not. I'm leaning towards not. I really liked True, but I don't know. Maybe one book is enough. Next book I'm going to talk about is The Shock of the Fall by Nathan Filer. And this book is a portrayal of a man's descent into mental illness, schizophrenia, to be exact. I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars, and I may seem critical right now because I know I have to say something about every single book I review, but this book just didn't do it for me, you know. I'm just being honest here. I'm not trying to criticize the book just for the sake of it. I'm just trying to be honest. The summary of the book on Goodreads promises an amazing, heartfelt story, and it probably is, but it just wasn't for me. To be honest, I barely even remember this book already, and I only read it like 2 months back. And I actually have to read reviews to know what was going on again, and I didn't have this particular thing with any of the other books. So why don't I remember this book? this really confuses me. Um, the thing I remember the most out of this book is the death of Simon, and that's the only part that even slightly engaged me in this book. Um, a lot of people are raving in the reviews on Goodreads, but this book wasn't it for me. I used to think I was deeply interested in books about mental illnesses and difficult subjects, but after this one, I have to reconsider. The writing style is beautiful at times, but the story lacked a lot of substance for me. There was so much going on at some times I couldn't even keep up. And in this book, I think it's really important that you have a connection with the main character. And I just didn't feel it. I didn't have that connection. My emotional relationship with Matt was non-existent. I gave this book 2 stars instead of 1, because of the beautiful writing at times, and because it isn't necessarily a bad book. It obviously isn't, because a lot of people seem to like it. So this is my wrap up for August. I'm a little late with this one, but um, I'm here. It's here, isn't it? I did it, and I'm actually really proud of it. I spent a lot of time on these reviews, and yeah. So what's coming up is the wrap up for September, because I missed that one too, and I actually made a whole plan of what kind of videos I'm going to do for the next 2 months, I guess, and we'll see how it goes. I hope it goes well, of course. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye guys!